What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Playmakers Corner podcast. I'm your co-host for today, Simon Villanoz, aka Coach V, and this is episode 262, I believe, here. Regardless, though, it is the last episode, or one of the last episodes for this 2023 NAIA women's flag football season. We've recapped every week. We've talked about conference tournaments. We've previewed the national tournament. And finally, nationals happened. It happened last week here. Let me make sure I date this real quick. It happened from May 18th to May 20th, obviously 2023, in Georgia. The first games took place in Marietta, Georgia, in that sports complex. And then the next 2 days took place at the Home Depot backyard field and the Mercedes-Benz Dome, the home of the Atlanta Falcons. And so on this episode, we talk about the entire tournament. On this episode, we're really just recapping it. We're recapping this tournament. Kodey Stauffer, my other co-host, he went there, and so he got to meet many of you listeners and all that, and he's really appreciative of all the love and support y'all have showed us there, and y'all's hospitality as well. And so he's going to recap some of the games that he was able to see live. I was not able to go, but I was able to watch the stream for a lot of the other games as well, which kind of gave me a little bit better point of view, because I'm able to see the whole field and get specific numbers, and so I'll be able to recap a good number of games as well. But we're just going to go back and forth, recap all the games from Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, talk about the playmakers who really showed out. I am going to say this on this episode: we're probably not going to do a Playmaker of the Week. We're going to save some of that for actually the next episode, because this episode should be dropping on Friday, May 26th, and then the next episode will drop a couple days later, May 29th, and on that one, we got some special content here. Kodey was actually able to cover the junior college championship and games and all that stuff, and so he's going to be able to talk about that, talk about some excellent prospects as well, some players at two-year colleges who, we might see soon here in the NAIA in the next year or two. So that's going to be on the next episode. And along with that, myself and Kodey, we're going to hop on a call, on a recording, and we're going to just react to this tournament, give our opinions, and talk about every team, every round. And so if you're looking for those reactions, we'll have a couple of those, obviously, while recapping, but most of that will be on the next episode. That should be episode 263, either 262 or 263, just kind of depending on how that works out. But it's either way, it will be the episode right after this one when it is posted. All right, and so feel free to look at the timestamps as well. We're going to timestamp every single game / matchup throughout this tournament so that you could skip around if you want to. This should be probably one of our longest episodes of the season. So once again, thank you so much for hanging with us. And you know what? I really got one thing to say. I mean, look, this tournament, easily the best of all time. Easily the best of all time. I think the format really allowed it to be so dramatic and great and just so much high level football. I really think all the teams showed up, this weekend and played some of their best football of the season. And Kodey believes that as well. And honestly, I mean, there's that Moneyball quote that goes, "How could you not get romantic about baseball?" I mean, shoot, man. How could you not be romantic about football after watching this weekend? Great football. And so I got to say that at the beginning, because like I said, this is going to be a long episode. But without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the first games here from day one, Friday, May 18th. It's going to go back and forth between myself and Kodey for this one.
Hey, y'all. Welcome to Playmakers Corner, where I'm going to just do a really quick recap of the opening game in this tournament, partially because originally it was scheduled for 8:45 but was moved to 8 a.m. start and that was between Midland and Cottey here. Midland, well, I should clarify what the stakes are of this game and kind of how the tournament is looking like. So it's double elimination tournament. So the winner of this game would go on to play Ottawa in round 2, aka game 5, and the loser would go to the bottom bracket and would face the loser of the game 8 scenario, which is Thomas, who's the number 2 seed, who's waiting to see who wins between Warner and Campbellsville, which is the recap right after this. But that's kind of what we're looking at here. And so Midland, Cottey, both very familiar opponents. Midland comes out the gate here and, in the first half, builds up a 20-6 lead, I want to say here. And they would basically never look back from there, because to start the half, Midland here would eventually find Casey Thompson for a pretty deep touchdown from about midfield. And on the drive after that would get an interception here and another deep touchdown to go up pretty big and even get a conversion here. Midland would eventually walk away from this game with a 31-6 W here. Cottey just couldn't quite get clicking in this game, and I want to say that they waved this game off even a little bit earlier than most, honestly. I think because they were running a little bit behind for their original intended schedule. But regardless, in short, Midland here, thanks to great offensive explosion and a very stout secondary, would beat the Cottey Comets in a familiar matchup. And now Cottey waits for the loser of either Thomas, Warner, or Campbellsville, depending on who wins the Warner and Campbellsville game. And Midland would go ahead and buckle up against the number 1 seed in the tournament, a familiar opponent in the KCAC champs, the Ottawa Braves here. Simon will have that full recap in a later part of this episode, but that is the start to the 2023 NAIA tournament, is with a Midland W over the Cottey Comets here. Like I said, didn't get to catch as much of this game as I originally wanted to, with the slight schedule adjustment and just with what time I was able to get a rental car really is what impacts this as well. But still, did get to see some explosive plays, and also be sure to check out the Tik Tok that has highlights from this game, as Midland was putting on quite a show here to start the tournament. And stick around for plenty of more recaps to come. All right, and on this segment, we're going to be talking about the Warner versus Campbellsville game. I want to say that Warner was probably the 5 seed in this tournament, or something along those lines, or 6, 7 seed, somewhere in that range. And Campbellsville was around between the 11 to 13th seed, according to this matchup in the first round here. So in this game, this was, Thursday morning. This is still pretty fresh when I got here. This is the second game that I got to see of the entire weekend. And most of all, this game was played in the pouring rain, and the winner of this game would go on to face Thomas University. And then the loser of this game would, be sent to the loser's bracket, and they would play the loser of whoever played Ottawa, which, according to the last segment, is, Ottawa or Midland is what would go down and the stipulations of this game. So let's go ahead and jump into it. To start the game, Campbellsville, they get a first down, but eventually they would have to punt it. Now, Warner fields the punt and puts together a few plays for a first down before it is raining so hard I have to watch this game from a tent. But this rain definitely made this game close. Very defensive edged game here. Not a lot of ways to throw the ball, and more details on that in a second, as the rain is getting this ball really wet. because once Warner is in the red zone, the quarterback drops back and drops the ball. Just straight up goes to load up, and the ball just slips right out of her hand, and this leads to a turnover on downs. So Campbellsville is back on offense. They get a quick pitch to the left. It goes for maybe a yard before the next pitch goes left for a first down. But a flag on the play for an illegal block negates the first and pushes Campbellsville back. They do pass left, and that is almost for a first before number 2, Yaneli Quiros here, rolls right and then extends for the first down. Yaneli would go left again for a few yards, and then there would be a pass on the right side towards Angeline Beecher here, and this ball is floated up in the air, and she mosses the defender and collects a huge catch right here, especially in the rain. Now, it is 4th and short, and they have a direct snap to Presley Payne, who picks up, who somehow evades defenders in the backfield because everyone knows that it's coming, and picks up about 11 yards. There's then a direct snap left, but a penalty would push them back to about the 14-yard line, and a rollout right would take us to the end of the quarter with the score tied 0-0. Campbellsville is struggling in the red zone to open up this second quarter and goes for the end zone even on 4th down, and nothing happens, giving Warner the ball at about the 11-yard line. So Warner with the football here. They get the ball to Gianna Hong here, and she evades some defenders and picks up a few yards here. And on the next play following that, you have Cynthia Holmes here, who, as we've talked about, is their go-to and will continue to do so in this tournament, who falls for it as defenders miss flags and picks up about 10. She then has another direct snap here, and that sets up 4th and short, but a massive penalty pushes Warner back 5 yards. And then as they get set to snap, they snap it to Cynthia Holmes, who picks up a 1-yard gain, but Campbellsville commits to the run and limits them to none, which sets up 4th and 1. I guess that no. That penalty was on that original direct snap. So that pushes it back. Keep in mind there are no down markers on the field, so some of these notes might be a little confusing, especially as I start to get here and get settled in. But on 4th and 1, they wall off Cynthia Holmes, go for the flag, and force a turnover on downs. So Campbellsville, they start past midfield here because that's where that stop was basically at the 40-yard line. And so they have a quick run left that gets a few, but they have a speed option that, is negated by a flag guard. Another short run right, and then a deep pass hits the turf. In normal weather, this probably would have been an interception just because it was thrown into traffic, but it is still raining pretty hard at this point in the game. They take a timeout, and on 4th and 8, come out in a tight formation and roll out left, where they go and try and throw for the first down, but Allison Mangiotti breaks up the pass and forces a turnover on downs. Now, Warner ball, not far from midfield. They do intend a pass for Cynthia Holmes, but that is batted down. Following that, they have a direct snap to Gianna that also doesn't go for anything before number 8 here, Allison Mangiotti here at the quarterback position, rolls out right and picks up the first down. She's constantly using that pump fake to get defenders off their feet and making them pay for it, and also, getting the secondary to still respect the deep pass here. Now, they have a keeper left for maybe another 3 yards before number 22 on this Campbellsville squad, Gabrielle Medeiros, I want to say, gets a big flagpole for loss. Now, there's a deep pass intended for number 23 of this squad, Anna Vincenzeni. Oh my gosh. Simon literally told me how to say this name. So Anna, I am really sorry about that. But, this is a deep pass, but it falls incomplete. Now, after, trying to direct traffic, Gianna here Allison is rolling out right, trying to direct someone to get open, tries to keep it herself, but is stopped just 1 yard shy, and it is a turnover on downs. Now, Campbellsville, eventually they do, get the ball here, and they're like 4 yards from midfield. They have a run left that goes for a first. They throw right to number 21, J.C. Harper here for a few yards, but then following a bad snap, it sets up 2nd and 19. And number 2, Yaneli Quiros here takes it right for a gain of 3, but a flag on the play pushes them back behind midfield. And after a pass to number 8, who picks up a pass to number 1, that is, who picks up 8, they're going to have to punt. So, on the punt return, Warner here, they have a lateral on the punt that gives them basically another 10 yards here and sets them up, pretty good. But, after a couple of drop passes and overthrows, they end up having to punt anyway themselves. Now, on the return here, J.C. Harper gets the ball, but on the next play, picks up a few. But then a pass to Presley Payne picks up a first down, and then a pitch to Presley Payne picks up a few more yards. But then Warner has a great flagpole to stop for just a gain of 1, and that is the end of the third quarter here. There's a pass right that's incomplete, and then Cynthia Holmes stonewalls the ball carrier and has a great flagpole that forces a turnover on downs. Now Warner with the ball here, they're going to go ahead and pass short to Gianna, who picks up a few, and then the quarterback on the next play has 2 pump fakes before taking off left and picks up a few yards. But then a penalty on Campbellsville pushes Warner past the first down and midfield here. Gianna then gets a quick rush for 2 yards before, on the very next play, Allison goes left and makes a girl miss and ends up just 9 yards away from the end zone. On first down, they do have an incomplete pass, and then number 7, Angeline Beecher here, has a great pass breakup to force third down. There's a pass to the end zone, but a defender is flagged for pass interference. Her back was to the ball, so no surprise on this penalty here. Just not quite in position. Very obviously, just kind of flailing her arms around to make a play here. And, that pushes Warner even closer to the end zone. And then on the very next play, Allison Mangiati finds the end zone, and Warner takes a 6-0 lead. Now, Campbellsville, they end up with a few more drives here, but just don't quite have a developed passing game. They try a hook and ladder where the pitch almost ends up in the hands of Warner before eventually they just try and go to what they're good at here. Yaneli Quiros keeps it herself, gains a first down, and then J.C. Harper makes a big play here to try and, cuts back, finds a lane. But Cynthia Holmes has a good flagpole herself to negate or to minimize the damage done on that run. Then they have an incomplete pass and eventually just turn over on downs. Now Warner, they have the ball just past midfield where they try and, keep it simple. But Annalise Beecher here, I just realized that there's 2 Beechers on this squad. But Annalise here actually ends up in between the pitch here and gives Campbellsville the ball right back and a breath of life. Still only down by a single score. And this gives them the ball on the other side of midfield here. They start off this drive with a Presley Payne run for 5. Then there's an overthrow and great contain by Warner on the next 2 plays that only allows 6 yards to be gained across those. And on 4th down, Warner plays excellent sticky defense here, forces an incomplete pass, any turnover on downs. Now with the ball and around 2 minutes to go, they get the ball to Cynthia Holmes, try to close this game out. Campbellsville calls a timeout. They have another run left here, and Campbellsville will use their last timeout with about 2 minutes and 5 seconds left. And on 3rd and 1, number 19, Emma Walker, has a diving flag pull here for a loss. And now on 4th and a few here, Warner tries to get the defense to jump, but is unsuccessful and uses a timeout. So, then with the ball here, they try a shovel pass, and the ball hits the turf, and that is a turnover on downs. And Campbellsville, with a minute to go, still has a chance to come back in this game, and they come out and they take a big swing. They aim to throw deep right, and the pass is intercepted by Amiri Logan, who is, going to be sure to stay tuned for our reaction episode. Has a pretty good tournament, and that would be the end of this game here. Warner advances to face Thomas 6-0, and after that, Campbellsville will play Midland later in the day for Midland's, 3rd game. So it's a little bit of a spoiler there, but that is the Warner and Campbellsville game. All right, y'all. Continuing these recaps here, we have the Keiser versus Weber game that happened 10:40 a.m. This game is also at the Franklin Gateway Sports Complex on that Thursday morning, that opening Thursday of the tournament. So let's go ahead and jump into it right here. The winner of this game would go on to face the winner of the Ottawa and Midland game. Go ahead and listen to Simon's recap on that game here. And the loser would go ahead and fall down to the bottom part of the bracket, where they would be playing the loser of Game 3. And that Game 3 was originally Kansas Wesleyan and Reinhardt, but with Reinhardt bowing out of the tournament at the very last second, they would, get an automatic win there, and they would face the winner of Game 12, which is the winner between Campbellsville and the loser of the Ottawa versus Midland game. So, a little confusing there, but in short, the winner would go on to face the winner of Ottawa and Midland, and the loser would go ahead and drop down to the bottom bracket. Now, to start this game, Keiser would have the ball, and there would be a double pass, but that eventually gets back to number 14, Marisa Rubino, is hit in stride on a crosser route by Haley Young, and is, picking up a first down. Now, they try this again, but Haley Young passes it back to Jasmine Roden here, but that pass ends up incomplete. And then on the very next play here, getting a quick start, Caitlin Sigmundi would intercept Haley Young and just be a yard shy of midfield, giving Weber the ball here in great position. Now, they do pass for a first down over the middle, and then on the next play, there's a pass to KB, Kayla Burrows, left here for a short gain. And then on the next play, Keiser here responds with a big defensive play here as Reagan Pellegrino sacks the quarterback, pushing them back even further. Now, on the next play, Sam Wilson would roll out right and dot up Caleb Burrows, setting up a very, manageable 4th and 6. And who else do you go to here? Wilson finds Burrows over the middle, who gets all the way to the 1 yard line. This is a great seam route. This is an absolutely perfectly timed ball by Wilson here to set up Weber in very good scoring position here. But Keiser, they get a stop for a loss on a jet sweep, But on 2nd and goal here, they run some kind of speed option here that goes right. And I want to say it goes to Malia Domingo here, who picks up the score. Now, the PAT is no good, but Weber jumps up very early in this game with a turnover and a score, making the most of it 6-0. Now, Keiser here with the football. Roden rolls out right and eventually gets her flag pulled here by Jada Dillard of this Weber squad, number 15. So, on 2nd and 5, they do get the pass off this time to Adriana Rodriguez, who picks up the first down. Then on the next play, the pass would go to Sofia Caprio here, number 10, on a hitch. And following that, you do have a great rusher here in Jasmine Henry, who does not fall for the pump fake here and sacks Jasmine Roden. Now, on the next play, pressure forces an incompletion and Keiser will punt. And so Weber, they get set up with 1st and 5 from midfield here. Now, they dot up KB here for a first down, but an illegal motion pushes Weber back to 1st and 10. They're still looking to Burrows on the next play, but that is incomplete before Wilson rolls out left and throws for about 9 yards. The next play is also a throw left for 5 yards and a first, and that will conclude the first quarter here. Weber just getting past midfield to end this quarter and start off 1st and 16 in the second quarter. There's a very short throw for about 1 or 2 yards before on the next play, a pass, goes for about 4, and that sets up 3rd and 9. And Jasmine Henry gets the catch here, but there's really nowhere to go once she does catch the ball. So on 4th and 7 here, Sam Wilson, they're going to go for it, obviously, on the other side of midfield. And Wilson rolls right and finds Burrows for a first down on just a great pass outside the hash here. Now, on 1st and 17, there's a very quick pass here, and this sets them up pretty solid in the red zone here. And Weber is going to take a timeout here. They don't really like what they see from the Keiser defense. They're going to huddle up, come up with a plan, and this is one of the best timeouts of the weekend, I would say, because they do find Kayla Burrows for the score. And once Keiser stifles the point after attempt, Weber is still up 12-0 to start the second quarter. So 2 drives, 2 touchdowns here. Keiser maybe not quite awake for this tournament. So they roll out here. Kind of feels like they got to put together a drive. But Jasmine Henry responds with a great flag pull. And on the next play, pass is just a little too high, not quite brought in by the receiver. And after a pass deflection by Zoe Mello here, Keiser is going to have to punt. So Weber on the other side of midfield to start here. They have a great chance to go up 3 scores here in the first half. But Emma Wagenman does not allow that to happen. Number 2 for Keiser, and gets a sack to push them way back and just not allow Weber to start drives the way that they have been with success, right? And following that, there is an incomplete pass, and then there's actually a drop here, and that sets up 4th and 9. Weber takes another timeout here. They're feeling themselves. They're feeling the momentum. They want to try and make this a 3-score game, so they come out and they go for it here. But the flag is pulled just shy of the sticks, which leads to a turnover on downs here. But Keiser with the ball and with a nice return are starting at around the 23, I want to say. And they hit a quick hitch left, and then another hitch and pitch sets up 3rd and 2. Now, Jasmine pushes the ball a little too far right on this next play, but Keiser, they're going to go for it on 4th and 2, where they find Brenna Ramirez, who reaches up and brings it in for a first. Now, there's a catch in the boundary on the very next play, and that picks up a few before pressure on the play after that forces Jasmine to get rid of the ball just before the sack with about a minute 43 left in the half. Now, rolls out here on this next play. They have some time to get set up, and Adriana Rodriguez would catch the ball for about 5, and this sets up 4th and 6, where Keiser takes a timeout with a minute 10 left. Now, they come out here out of the timeout, and Sofia Caprio would catch the ball for a first down before on first down now, heading forward, Emma Balaco breaks up a pass with just under a minute, stops the clock here, and sets up 2nd and 17. Now, Jasmine Roden on this 2nd and 17 gets the snap, surveys the field, and finds Marissa Rubino for the score with just, I want to say there is about 45 seconds left in the half. The PAT is no good, so Keiser still trails 6-12, but they get points on the board here. And that would basically take us to halftime. Weber doesn't end up going for really any big plays and doesn't get a big play here. And obviously with Keiser starting the first half here, Weber would start the second half here. And Wilson finds KB, who turns up for a first to start this play. Then there's a roll right, picks up about 4 yards before an incomplete pass sets up 3rd and 15. And on this play, Wilson does try and go for the first down here, but Alexis Santiago gets a pass breakup and forces a Weber punt. Now, Keiser, they're very good about fielding punts so that, they are just shy of a first down. They intentionally do this. They either kneel or set the ball on the ground. And they do exactly that here, getting set up at their own 39-yard line, setting up 1st and 1 until midfield. There is a throw right, but a flag guard pushes back a nice gain. But on the next play, they do have a shovel pass that goes for a few. And then right after that, they have a shovel that is lateraled, pretty much a staple of this offense here. And that goes for a first down. Now, on first down, just past midfield, they take a deep shot here that's just a little overthrown here, which sets up 2nd down. There's then a play here where Roden finds Ramirez for a short crosser that picks up a few and gets 3rd and 17 set up here. Now, Jasmine finds Kennedy Foster for a first down on a great pass and catch, so this puts Keiser in the red zone here. Now, Jasmine here, getting crafty, takes off for a few before pitching, and that pitch picks up about 7 to 8 yards. Now, they have a false start that pushes them back before a pass on a crosser sets up 3rd and 6 here. Now, on 3rd and 6, they go for, obviously they're trying to score here, but Caitlin Sigmundi of Weber has other plans and gets a flagpole at the 1-yard line. Major flagpole here that forces a timeout here. And on the very next play, Weber rides that momentum, and Jasmine Henry actually sacks Jasmine Roden and forces a turnover on downs as they have a goal line stand. They have a red zone stand here. Now, Weber, that does set them up inside of their own 10-yard line, so they got to kind of get some breathing room here. They have a quick comeback pass to Sigmundi to set up 2nd and 1 before having a pass to one of their goats, Robinson here, who does pick up a first down. Now, on 1st and 13, there's a flagpole around the line of scrimmage on a pass before another flagpole by number 4, Samaya Bryant, is only for a gain of 1 or 2. Now, after that, they do try and pass it to Robinson here, but she starts looking upfield and doesn't quite bring it in, and they will have to punt. And that ends the quarter. So Keiser here to start the 4th quarter, not looking so hot. They have 2 incompletions, and Jasmine is off the field on 3rd down. And so Haley Young tries to dot up her receiver here, but it is incomplete. But a penalty would set up 3rd and manageable before Haley finds number 10, Sofia Caprio here for a first down. Now, they get Roden back in the game, and there's a triple pass, where they throw it to Haley Young, who throws it back to Jasmine Roden, who then finds Adriana Rodriguez here, who picks up a few yards before on the next play. I don't know if they lulled this Warrior squad into kind of a slumber here with these quick hitches, outs, crossers over and over and over again. But Jasmine Roden goes deep right to Brenna Ramirez for the score here. And an unsportsmanlike penalty on Weber would set up an even shorter conversion that Keiser would convert on and allow them to go up 13-12. So starting the fourth quarter, Kaiser's been behind for 3 quarters of this game, and they just now get the lead. And the pressure is starting to definitely shift on Weber to step up and make a play here. So they get some quick completions here, but a deep shot right is very well contested and ends up incomplete, and Weber will have to punt. Now Keiser, once again, 1st and 1 to midfield with about 6 minutes and 55 seconds left in this game. They take a deep shot here. They're trying to go for the kill shot, but this is just out of reach here. And then on the very next play, KB has a great flag pull, but Keiser just narrowly gets the first down. Kennedy Foster is targeted in traffic on first down, but can't quite bring it in before they throw a quick out left that sets up 3rd and 4. They have a short pass that gets to 4th and inches, but a quick pitch to number 11, Brenna Ramirez, is worth a first down with 3 minutes to go. And right here, they're just trying to really finish this game and stomp out the fire that was the Warriors to start this game. They have a triple pass, but Jasmine Roden takes off after the double back to her and sets up 2nd and goal from short. This happens before finding number 1, Haley Young, who walks in for the score. The PAT is no good, but regardless, Keiser is now up 19-12 with around 2 minutes to go. Now Weber, they've been in this spot before. They know how to drive. They know how to put together, a serious contest here. And so they do exactly that. They find Robinson on this very first play for a first down before getting an incomplete pass that was targeted for Caleb Burrows. Weber here, they have 2, back-to-back kind of dump-offs here before this game would have the door slammed on it with an Alexis Santiago interception with 1 minute and 30 seconds left, and they would get out of this game here. Keiser wins this game 19-12 here against Weber. Weber here going to be waiting to see, the winner between Campbellsville and the loser between Ottawa and Keiser, or Ottawa and Midland. Might have just spoiled it a little bit there with a Freudian slip of some kind, but Keiser here waiting for the winner of Ottawa and Midland.
Okay, now let's go ahead and talk about St. Thomas versus Kansas Wesleyan. So there was a slight change to this tournament here. Reinhardt would end up pulling out of the tournament. It ended up being really late, or at least that's what we heard from the organizers, and so obviously best of luck to them. But because of Reinhardt pulling out, now we have more of an even amount of teams, and so basically what this looked like is that Kansas Wesleyan, instead of playing Reinhardt, would basically have a bye of sorts and would just play St. Thomas, which, it does matter just a little bit because they're not as warmed up. Regardless, this was going to be St. Thomas's first game, and honestly, this was probably going to be the match regardless. Myself and Kodey had this one projected here, and so let's talk about the stakes. So whoever wins obviously moves on to the next round here, and they play the winner of Warner versus Thomas. Now whoever loses gets dropped into the loser's side of the bracket of things, but they won't have to play on the loser's side right away. They would go ahead and play the winner of Cottey versus the loser of Thomas and Warner. So there you go there. And obviously once you hit the loser's side of the bracket, then you only have one more loss left before you are sent home. And so obviously a big matchup here between one of the best offenses in the KCAC and then arguably the best defense in the country, either one or two with Thomas here. So there you go there. Now let's go ahead and hop into the first quarter. St. Thomas starts on offense here. Holly Neer finds Kaylee Miller on the slant for a first down to get this drive started. Following that, Neer goes to Jada Graham in the flats, who slips a couple defenders, gets a solid gain near midfield. Not quite a first down, though. But on second here, Neer goes back to Graham in the flats, who goes and gets them that first down past midfield. Now, after an incompletion, on second down, Neer throws it, but it's a little bit of a dangerous pass. Still batted down, though, bringing up third down past midfield. No gains so far here. But here we go on third. Neer evades the rush before finding Graham on the curl, but she is stopped short. It's about 4th and 6 here. And on fourth, Neer finds Miller on the out, but she is pulled just short here. So that's a quick turnover on downs. Now Kansas Wesleyan takes over. They go ahead and run the option and pitch it. That goes for maybe a yard. Second down here, Brianna Hernandez Silva forced to scramble. Gets a couple more. That brings up 3rd and 12 here. But on 3rd and 12, Brianna Hernandez Silva sacked by the pass rusher, the artist, Lanaya Leone. That's a 3 and out there. And so St. Thomas takes over after the punt. Now, here we go. First down, Neer finds Tyler Bryant for a solid gain here. Following that, a gain of 10, by the way, and that would be a first down past midfield. Following that, there's an incompletion, but on second down, Neer goes back to Bryant for another solid gain, which brings up 3rd and 4. And on 3rd and 4, Neer goes over the middle to Dominique Parks, the freshman running back, and that would go ahead and put them in the red zone. After another check down to Parks for about 10, it's 2nd and 10 here, and that's when they go ahead and give the ball to Graham on the end around, and a diving tackle does stop her just short of the end zone, but knocking on the door here. And then on third down, Neer throws a quick slant to Tyler Bryant. That makes it 6-0. Now, that's when the first quarter ends. In the second quarter, Neer finds Rayona Baker to make it 7-0 as St. Thomas takes the extra point and the early lead here at the top of the second. So there you go there. But on the first play for Kansas Wesleyan, Hernandez Silva throws it, but it is picked off by Rayona Baker, who takes it to the red zone here. And so that's where St. Thomas is set up in the red zone in a prime spot to go up 2 scores. And here we go. Neer goes over the middle for 5 to Tiffany Walker. Then on second down, it's incomplete. So that brings up third down here in the red zone, where Neer finds Jada Graham on the slant to make it 13-0. Extra point is no good on that, but St. Thomas taking a very early 2-score lead over Kansas Wesleyan here in the second quarter after a very costly interception. Now, Kansas Wesleyan, they will get the ball back, looking to respond back here. And so here's what happens. They do get the first down thanks to a pitch and a penalty. So that goes for a first. But after some option plays, run plays, and incomplete passes, KWU is forced to punt it. So there you go there. Now, St. Thomas, they get the ball back here. And on the first play, Holly Neer throws a strike to number 6 here. That is Tyler Bryant, who goes ahead and turns on the Jets and goes to the house to make it 19-0 here, taking a huge lead here as they now have all the momentum. Extra point is no good, by the way, but Kansas Wesleyan, regardless, is still down 3 scores. Now, KW, they start here, and Brianna Hernandez Silva goes ahead and gets a solid gain for about 20 yards, plus an illegal contact penalty, though. But an illegal contact penalty would bring it back here, and so that would be very costly to them. Now, they would have a couple more passes. One of them was batted, another one was dropped, and so once again, they have to punt with about 2 minutes left in the half. And so St. Thomas, they get the ball back here near midfield here, really looking to drive the nail in early on. And so here is what happens. St. Thomas at midfield, quick pass goes for first down. Following that, another pass to Jada Graham, who then laterals it to Tyler Bryant. She goes ahead and turns on the Jets and almost scores here, but is stopped just short on the 3-yard line in the red zone. But in the red zone, they go ahead and throw it, and Alexa Mansur of Kansas Wesleyan gets a huge interception to go ahead and kill that drive, keeping Kansas Wesleyan's hopes alive. But something that would happen on that play is that Jada Graham would go down here and would be hurt. It looks like it's a knee injury, and if you do remember, Jada Graham had a pretty bad knee injury about 2 years ago. It took her out for most of last year as well, and so that's obviously not a good thing to see at all here, but she is able to walk on her own and go to the sideline here. Now, at this point, she is not going to come back into the game. She's basically ruled out. I mean, they're up 19-0, so there's really no need. Now, Kansas Wesleyan, they would try to get something going here, but an interception by Tashumba Washington would go ahead and end that drive, as St. Thomas would have a 19-0 lead in the first half going into the second half here. Now, in the third quarter, not too much more would happen. Like I said, Jada Graham got ruled out, and so she's not there on offense or defense, so just keep that in mind. Kansas Wesleyan just kind of struggles to get going here. I mean, this is their first game, and it's against a very tough squad, so it's just really hard to, I guess, blame them here. I mean, they do get a first down, Brianna Hernandez-Silva finding a player on a slant, but after that, it does eventually bring up a fourth down near midfield here, and they would try a little double pass, but it would get tipped up, and, Roman, I believe, does get it, but she is short, and so that's a turnover on downs. Now for St. Thomas here, they would take over, but not too much success here, as they do struggle a little bit here. A big sack, I'd say, on third down on Holly Neer would go ahead and hurt them, along with a flag guarding play on first down, and so all those things combined would result in a 3-and-out for St. Thomas, and so KWU will get it back. And so for Kansas Wesleyan, if they want to get back in it, they need to score sooner than later, either late in the third or at the beginning of the fourth, just so that you have enough time. And so here we go to start. Hernandez-Silva scans and finds a wide open receiver downfield. That goes for about 20. Following that here, it's second down after an incompletion. Hernandez-Silva checks it down to Kendra Velasquez-Monroe, who is just stopped short near midfield, not quite able to get the first down, but it is 3rd and inches. And no worries there, Hernandez-Silva just scrambles right and gets the first down past midfield. And that is where Kansas Wesleyan would start here in the fourth quarter. But later in this drive, an illegal contact penalty would once again push Kansas Wesleyan back. Another one of those hurt their last drive earlier on in this game, and so it's a little bit of deja vu. But after an incompletion on second, it's now 3rd down here, and Lanai Leon applies pressure and forces yet another incompletion. That goes ahead and makes it a pretty tough 4th down situation. And here's what happens. 4th down, Brianna Hernandez-Silva drops back, but then just walks it in, though, to make it a 19-6 game here on the touchdown run. Hernandez-Silva will then pitch it to Corin DeQuee to make it 19-7 here, as Kansas Wesleyan begins to, chisel away at this lead. Now, they definitely need another stop here, and probably, they would for sure need 2 more scores at least. And so here we go. They go ahead and Holly Neer throws the hitch to Tyler Bryant, but an illegal contact penalty again is called on Kansas Wesleyan. So that's 1st and 15. But right after that, this ball is almost picked off by Lexi Marquez. That would have been a game changer, but instead it's just incomplete there. Then on 2nd down, Neer throws the post to Veronica McBride, who goes ahead and gets the first down. Good throw by Neer, and that would put them past midfield. Following that, Neer throws the hitch to Baker here for a couple more. And then on second, check down to Parks, who gets them into the red zone. So here we go in the red zone. If they score here, it's basically over. But Kansas Wesleyan holds pretty strong here, puts them in a 4th and inches situation here. But then that's when the 2-minute warning would pass, as so much time is getting used on this drive and on that first KW drive at the top of the 4th. But 4th down and inches, they throw it, and the pass is dropped. So turnover on downs here. So KW, they get the ball back just inside the 2-minute warning. They really need to score sooner than later here. You kind of want to reserve your timeouts, but Hernandez Silva goes deep, and Tashumba Washington is there with a huge interception. By the way, head coach Jeff Molesky of Weber was helping call this game, and he called it. He said, Tashumba Washington, this is where she makes big plays, and that's what happens. She makes a huge interception here and gets a huge return back to the red zone. And, I mean, regardless of how you cut it, that puts KW in a real tough spot here, and basically puts this thing away. Holly Near on 4th and inches would go ahead and run it in to make it 25-7, and that would be the nail in the coffin as St. Thomas wins 25-7 here. They will move on to play Thomas in the next round, while Kansas Wesleyan drops to the loser side of the bracket here and will be playing the winner of Cottey versus whoever loses in that Warner versus Thomas matchup. Okay, now let's go ahead and talk about Ottawa versus Midland here. Midland playing in round 1, defeating Cottey 31-6. Ottawa, this is their first game of the tournament and of the day here, playing a familiar KCAC opponent here. Did not play them in the conference in the conference tournament, I believe. Didn't play them there, but played them obviously twice or so here in the regular season. But two teams who are very familiar with each other in this round 1 matchup. What's at stake here? Obviously, the winner moves on to go ahead and play Keiser in the next round later this day here on Thursday, right at the end of the day here. And so there you go there. The loser obviously taking 1 loss on the record here in the tournament and dropping down to the loser's side, where they could still come through the other end, but obviously having a much longer journey to do that to get to the national championship. So here we go, some KCAC action in the national tournament. Here is what happens to start this game here. Suze Kaufman, the first-year Ottawa player here, the transfer from Weber, starts out with a sack to start this drive. Midland on offense here, and that kind of sets Midland back here. Second down, there's an incompletion, and then on third down, interesting enough, they run a jet sweep, which obviously goes nowhere because of how far back they got pushed because of that Kaufman sack. And so Midland goes 3 and out there. And so here we go, Ottawa taking the field for the first time this tournament on offense. They go ahead and run an option left and pitch it to Addie Osborne, the now sophomore, who slips a tackle and then gashes this defense, putting them in the red zone for a huge 20-plus yard gain here. Addie Osborne, having a great tournament from last year and winning it all with the squad last year, getting a big play to start on offense. Following that, though, there is a slight tackle for loss by Casey Thompson. She just does a great job playing the option. Then on second down, Madison Carrera, the quarterback, throws an incompletion. And so then that brings up third down here. And on third down, Ottawa runs an RPO, and Carrera, under pressure, throws the swing to Osborne, but she is stopped for no gain here. And so that actually brings up 4th and 20. Mind you, remember, they are in the red zone. And so here's what happens. Carrera drops back and throws it deep down the right sideline. Throws a beautiful pass on the money to Maya Quinn for an exactly 20-yard touchdown there to go ahead and take the early 6-0 lead. Now on the extra point, Aliyah Livingston of Midland gets a nice pass breakup. But regardless, Ottawa takes that 6-0 lead moving forward here. Now Midland got to get something going here. And so on second down, Michaela Nunez under pressure. There was a good ball to Casey Thompson on the curl. That goes for a first down. They are cooking. Following that, she goes ahead and throws a swing route to Alyssa Butler, who slips the corner and tiptoes down the sideline for a huge 16-yard play before getting her flag pulled, / getting forced out of bounds. And so Midland in a good spot, kind of near midfield here. Let's fast forward to third down here. They go ahead and pitch it to Diva Jones, who reaches out for a first. It looks like she got it, but on top of that, they go ahead and throw a penalty on Ottawa. And so I think she would have gotten the first and got them across midfield regardless, but this penalty definitely pushed them across here. So there you go there. Now fast forward to third down and 2. They're on the edge of the red zone. Midland looking to keep this drive alive. Nunez drops back, but is sacked by Suze Kaufman. That's her second of the game here. Second in the first quarter as well. So that forces a 4th and 5 here. And on 4th and 5, obviously Midland's not going to punt this, not this close to the end zone. And so they go ahead and try to pick up this first down. Michaela Nunez is under pressure though and throws an incompletion, and so that's a turnover on downs, and that basically ends the first quarter. Now going into the second quarter, Ottawa, they do get the football here following that turnover on downs, but a short pass play plus a direct snap to Orsburn, who stops short, and then another short pass play basically brings up a turnover on downs. Ottawa not doing anything there. Now Midland, the struggles on offense continue as Suze Kaufman is just an absolute terror here in this game. Gets her 3rd sack of the game to start this drive. So this drive really starts out pretty horribly, and Midland's not able to recover. It comes down to a 4th and 7 eventually. Nunez does find Casey Thompson on the speed out, but she is stopped just a little bit short here. And so that'd be another turnover on downs. And large thanks to Kaufman once more, who's definitely the playmaker of the game so far in this one. Now Ottawa still only up 6-0, looking to pull away here. On third down, Carrera scrambles for a first down that gets them past midfield as they extend a drive here. Second down here, Carrera under pressure throws it over the middle to Alyssa Linkus, who then pitches it to a wide open Jaslyn Camacho, who almost scores but is pulled just short. Gets them to the 1 though here in the red zone. And so here in the red zone, Ottawa with a great opportunity. Moving on to 3rd and 1 here. Carrera rolls left and finds Maya Quinn for the touchdown to make it 12-0. And then on the extra point, Carrera throws it, and this pass is actually dropped. Very uncharacteristic here. And so the EP's no good. They're only up 12-0. Now Midland, they're still in it, but you know, their offense needs to get going here, but the struggles continue here. A pitch goes for no gain. On second down, Haley McKay gets a nice pass deflection for Ottawa, so that's incomplete. And then third down, there's another deflection, I believe, by McKay, and this one's actually almost picked, but it's dropped. Regardless, though, Midland gets no yards on that drive, and so they go 3 and out, and Ottawa gets the ball back here. Moving on to third down here on this drive, Carrera scrambles around, buying some time, finds Mando Scalisi for the first down. That extends this drive. And then a play later on second down, Carrera throws the corner out to Linkus, who makes a cornerback miss and weaves in and out to make it an 18-0 game. This already feeling like the knockout punch. Carrera then throws the out route to Scalisi to make it 19-0 here. And Midland's just not able to get anything before half, and so they go into the second half already down 19-0. But honestly, this game is basically over here. Midland's offense just not able to get anything. In fact, on their first drive in the third quarter, Nunez gets sacked again by Suze Kaufman, and once more they go 3 and out after a really bad start. And then, just to go ahead and seal things up here, Carrera throws it up the right sideline late in the third, and it's kind of tipped up, but it's eventually caught by Jaslyn Camacho, who walks in and makes it a 25-0 lead. Carrera then rips a nice pass to the left to Dos Santos, who makes it 26-0. Like I said, this game's basically over here. A couple more score, I think one more score here. Scalisi, a touchdown to Mandolin Scalisi, makes it 32-0, plus a Carrera to Bailey Hodgins extra point makes it 33-0. Midland does get something at the very end where Michaela Nunez goes deep and the ball gets tipped up and then eventually caught by Diva Jones, a little bit of a broken play, who gets loose regardless though and finishes this play for a 60-yard touchdown, making it 33-6, but that is 6 points too late as Ottawa goes ahead and moves on to the next round to face off with Keiser here, after their 33-6 win over Midland. And that'll be a rematch of the very first national championship game ever in flag football, plus of the semifinal playoff game from last year, where Ottawa defeated Keiser to go to the national championship and then eventually win it. So there you go. Their exciting matchup ahead later today. On top of that, though, Midland, they're not eliminated yet. They could afford the one loss, and so they'll be going to the loser side of the bracket where they will be facing off with Campbellsville, who lost earlier today to Warner. And so that's the matchup there. And obviously, if Midland loses to Campbellsville, then they're eliminated. That's it. They go home. Same with if Midland beats Campbellsville, basically Campbellsville would go home as well. And to make things interesting, remember, these two teams played at the very beginning of the season. The first one went into overtime. The second one at home in Campbellsville came down to that fourth quarter, but you got to remember it was a different quarterback for Midland then. This is a very different team. And then for that Campbellsville team, I mean, it's a very different squad as well, as they've grown throughout the season since those were their first games. And so very interesting that they'll be playing again this late in the season at this point. But there you go there. Ottawa once more defeats Midland 33-6 in their first game of the tournament to move on and play Keiser next.
And so following Warner's win over Campbellsville, they advance to the second round of the top bracket here to face Thomas University, the number 2 seed in this tournament. That game takes place at noon here on this Thursday, first day of the tournament at Franklin Gateway Sports Complex once again. And so, after Warner's win here against Campbellsville, they will play off against Thomas. And on the first down play of this game, Britt Delva gets a pick six, and Thomas takes a 6-0 lead. And a pitch to Janae Scott on the PAT makes it 7-0. Now Warner, trying to bounce back here on this second drive, gets a nice catch by Vincent Senni to give them a first down. There's another pass to Vincent Senni here over the middle that goes for about 10. So now they're looking at a second down here. But after an incompletion, they have third down. It's well covered downfield, and the pass falls incomplete, and they will have to punt. Now, on this next play here, Alex Wilson goes to Britt Delva for a solid gain and a first down. They have an incompletion on this new first down here, and then on second down, a Cole would be on the receiving end and gets a solid gain of about 5 or so. Now on third down, Wilson drops back, finds a Cole who gets past midfield for the first down. Now, there's a check down to Margarita Pena here for a solid gain before Wilson then finds Aaliyah Woods in the flats to pick up a few. Now, on third down, it is incomplete and sets up fourth down here. Thomas goes deep, but it is knocked down by Chanel Harrison on this Warner squad, and that is a turnover on downs. On the very first play from scrimmage for Warner, Jada Reese here, one of the best rushers in the country, if not the best, starts off Warner's drive by getting a sack on the play. Now on second down, they have a short completion before on third down, Mangiati pitches it and it goes nowhere, forcing a 3-and-out courtesy of this Thomas defense. Now, on first down here, Thomas football, they have an incomplete pass, and then on second down, Wilson tries to go deep, but it is picked off once again by Warner's Chanel Harrison, making plays this game, trying to keep Warner in this ball game here. Now, on first down, Shea Crooks is taking the majority of the snaps. There's a solid completion to the flat on first down, but then on second down, the pass is batted down by the Thomas defense, and that will take us into the second quarter here. Now, Warner here on third down, they are under pressure, and it is incomplete. On fourth down, they go for it, and Jada Reese applies pressure and forces an incompletion and a turnover on downs. Now, on the next drive, Thomas, they throw a hitch to Knight that goes for 3. And then on second down, Wilson scrambles and picks up solid yards, setting up 3rd and 3. Wilson then throws the quick out to a Cole for a first down past midfield. This is where Simon's recap of the game ends and mine starts once I get up to the field. But by the time I got up to the field, Thomas had scored a touchdown and a PAT and was up 14-0, and Warner was set up on 3rd and 7. They have an incomplete pass there, and then they go for it, but a pass interference would move the chains for Warner. Now, Warner here with that momentum on that penalty, they return back to the air, and that is incomplete. They then try a double pass that is picked off by Nakara Brown here, giving Thomas the ball with about 2 minutes to go. They have a quick throw right for a first down, and then that is followed by a sweet throw left for another first down past midfield. They have another chunk gain here, setting up 2nd and 5, where Wilson has a dump off to a Cole who picks up a first down. They then have a few short gains before 3rd and 9 with a little under a minute happens, and they roll out right here, and Wilson will find Kiera Knight here for the score. And then a Cole would go ahead and complete a pass to Giselle Jones to put them up 21-0 with 35 seconds left in the half. Now, Warner here, they basically go 3-and-out here, and they're going to have to punt with 20 seconds left. Thomas with a first down throw and then an incomplete Hail Mary takes us to halftime. Now, Thomas starts with the ball, and, they're trying to put this game officially away here, but Warner with some other plans here. Vincent Senni playing a really great game here, gets an interception to start things off, and Warner will have the ball on the 20-yard line going in with the best possible field position that they've had all day. But this Thomas defense, especially in that red zone, they just turn into a really crazy good vice here, and they force an incompletion, get a sack before Warner finally gets a completion for about 7 yards, setting up 4th and 13. But another sack by Jada Reese will end this Warner drive and leave them with no points. And so Thomas, they get the ball back on about the 19-yard line. Kiana Cole takes the ball right for a first down before they have a pass left here from a Cole to Aaliyah here, who picks up about 12 yards. A Cole then steps up and finds another completion, and on third down, dots up number 9, Janae Scott, for the first down. Now they're in the red zone with a Cole leading this drive. This is the Cole Scott package that is built to put games away, and that is exactly what they're doing. They're eating up a ton of time here, and a Cole with back-to-back keepers left would eventually punch it in and do the conversion herself as well, putting Thomas up 28-0. Now Warner here playing for pride. It is double elimination as well. They got to do something here to get back into this game. They have a short run, and then a short pass. Both of those plays eventually lead to a first down. They have a pass left for a few, and then there's a pass that is almost intercepted, but Cynthia Homs leaps in front of the defender and snags a first down catch to get to midfield. This was a big play and, sets up, Warner on the other side of midfield. But, there is a great flag pull for loss for Thomas by Seals to start this fourth quarter. And then a quick crossing route is intercepted by Sanaya Glover here. And that makes it 1st and 3 to midfield. They have a quick pass for a first down, and then a quick pass again that, picks up a few yards. They have a throw for a first, a hitch right for 4, quick run left, incompletion. But number 25, Destiny Whitmore for Warner, eventually ends this drive in the red zone with a sack and a turnover on downs. Now, Warner, not a lot of time left in this game. Eventually, the clock runs out on them, and Thomas will win 28-0. So the implications of this game is, they would go on to face the winner from the St. Thomas and Kansas Wesleyan game. That is one that Simon is recapping. These games are happening at the same time, mind you, so I caught a little bit of that St. Thomas game, and where I left off, it looked like St. Thomas is going to be the one who's facing Thomas, and Warner now will jump down to the bottom bracket here. They are the loser of Game 8, so that puts them in Game 9, where they will face Cottey College with their season on the line here, and then face the loser of that Kansas Wesleyan St. Thomas game in the losers bracket.
Let's go ahead and talk about Ottawa versus Keiser here. Ottawa coming off of their win against Midland, winning by a pretty good amount here. Keiser winning their first game against Weber here. Here are the stakes. What's on the line? If they win, they go to the semis against the winner of the Thomas versus St. Thomas game. And then obviously the winner of that semi game gets a spot in the national championship. So there you go there. Now the loser of this game would drop to the losers bracket here. And that's where things would get interesting. They would basically play, not like right away, but they would have a bye or two there. So there you go there. And then obviously if you lose in the loser side of the bracket, then you're done. So you obviously want to keep that one loss in your back pocket just in case, because if you make it to the national championship from the loser side of the bracket, then you have to win 2 games in the national championship, not just the one, but you got to win 2. So that's why this matters. And then obviously if you lose before that, then you're just done. So there you go there. Let's go ahead and hop into this one, a rematch of the first ever national championship, a rematch of last year's semis. Let's hop into it. So Keiser, they start with the ball here. Jasmine Roden in at quarterback. She rolls right and then throws it to Sophia Caprio, who is on the other side of the field. No defenders there. She burns down the left sideline for a 40-plus yard touchdown on the first play. Keiser taking the 6-0 lead. Now the extra point is no good, and every point matters in these type of rivalry games and later games in this tournament here. But for now, Keiser, they take the 6-0 lead on that first play. Now Ottawa looking to respond back. Madison Carrera scrambles around buying time. Eventually finds the freshman Tatiana Dos Santos for a solid gain of around 20. That's a first down there. Now fast forwarding to third down here, Carrera throws the corner out to Jaslyn Camacho, who gets them another first down past midfield. So there you go there. Now fast forwarding to second down here. First down was an incompletion. Carrera tries to throw it down the seam, but a pass interference penalty is called on Keiser, so that will move them up and replay second down here. And so second down, Carrera throws the post to Camacho, who makes a great high point catch before reaching over here and just barely is able to make it. And so that's first down in the red zone. Now, moving on to second down here, Carrera throws the drag route to Alyssa Linkus, who walks it in and ties the game at 6-6. Now, on the extra point, it is overthrown, so it's no good, and it stays a tie here. Now, Keiser looking to respond back here near the end of the first quarter. Things doesn't go great as Roden gets sacked here. I want to say it's either DJ Paris or Suze Kaufman who does it, but it puts them in a tough position. Eventually, though, Roden finds Brendan Ramirez on second down on the drag, who spins and gets a lot of those yards back. That brings up third down, where Roden throws the hitch to Kennedy Foster, who gets the first down, so all is well to start here. Now let's go ahead and kind of fast forward here to the second quarter. It's 2nd and 13 at the start of the second quarter. Roden rolls left and makes a beautiful throw to Brendan Ramirez, who toe taps it in for an excellent catch, both feet in, by the way, to make that a reception and a good gain here. Good enough for a first down past midfield. Now, second down here, Roden finds Marissa Rubino on the out, who brings in a tough catch and then slides forward here past some defenders to go ahead and put them in the red zone just like that. Now, moving on to second down here, double pass goes to Haley Young, the other quarterback, who then throws it to a receiver, and I believe she completes this pass, but there is another PI called on Ottawa, so that moves up Keiser and gives them an automatic first down with less room to with less room to worry about and work with here, so they're a lot closer. And so on that first down, Roden rolls left and then finds Haley Young, I believe, over the middle, who walks it in for the touchdown to make it 12-6 here. Now on the extra point, Roden tries to throw it to Kennedy Foster. It's a little low, really tough to bring in, so the extra point's no good, but Keiser retakes the lead here in the second quarter. Now, Ottawa looking to respond back on the first play. Carrera throws a jump ball to Camacho, who rises up and comes down with it. That's a 20-plus yard play. That gives them a first down, obviously, and also puts them near midfield. Not past it, but just near it, though. But on first down, following that big play, Carrera sacked by Reagan Pellegrino, and that basically goes ahead and throws Ottawa out of whack here. They're not able to recover, and so they are forced to punt it on fourth down here. And so there you go there. Now Keiser, they get the ball back, looking to add on to the lead. No one-score lead is safe with Ottawa around here, so definitely a sense of urgency, honestly, in this one. Now on the first play, there is a penalty throw on Ottawa, so that'll move up Keiser. It's also going to give them a first down here since they are moved up, so there you go there. Now, first down here, Roden forced out right, throws it, but this throw's a little too low, and so it's dropped incomplete. Second down here, Roden pumps and throws an ill-advised pass here to Suze Kaufman, who just gets a big-time interception and also gets Ottawa across midfield here. And then go ahead and throw another penalty onto this one. While a penalty throw on Keiser as Ottawa gets a big break here. Great play by Kaufman, making Roden pay for that one. But unfortunately, Ottawa just not able to get anything going. They do get in the red zone here. On 4th and inches, Carrera finds Bailey Hodgins. That puts them in the red zone. But it does come down to a 4th and goal. Carrera throws the drag route, but it's overthrown once more. So that's a turnover on downs. And so Keiser, they do have a chance to extend this lead. They get a first down, but after that, a couple incompletions, so they just run out of time. And so at halftime, Keiser leads Ottawa here 12-6. Winner moves on to the semis, or to a semifinal game. All right, now in the third quarter, Ottawa starts with the ball, and this drive starts out pretty positively. Second down, Carrera checks down to Addie Osborne. She goes ahead and gets them a first down to start this drive. Following that, Carrera, once again, forced to check down to Osborne, gets another huge gain First down past midfield. Addie Osborne going to work here as she does in the playoffs. A couple plays later, it's third down. Carrera throws the wheel route, it looks like, or to me it looks like a wheel route to Addie Osborne, who goes ahead and makes a couple defenders miss and puts them in the red zone, gaining basically all the first downs for Ottawa on this drive as they are now in the red zone. Moving on to second down in the red zone, Carrera throws the drag to Linkus, who has excellent body control and twists around for the ball here. Thrown a little bit behind her, but still brings it in for the touchdown and to tie the game at 12-12. Now here on the extra point, Ottawa has a chance to take the lead here, and this is what happens. Carrera throws the drag to Linkus, who dives for this one. Another slightly inaccurate pass, but Linkus just making a great play here to go ahead and give Ottawa the 13-12 lead here. A lot of credit to Addie Osborne, who got them every first down on this drive, by the way. So there you go there. Now Keiser looking to respond back, only down by 1, so a touchdown would give them the lead right back. Third down here, Roden throws the quick hitter to Marissa Rubino. That gets them a first down here. But let's fast forward to 3rd and 7 here, kind of close to midfield, about 4 minutes left in the third. Roden flushed right, and she tries to throw it deep to Rubino, and it looks like she might have her, but it's off the mark, incomplete. And so that brings up 4th down. Keiser has to punt it. And so here we go, Ottawa with a chance to extend this lead. This is definitely what you want to do so that they can't just score and take the lead like that. And so here's what happens. Carrera finds Linkus here, but a flag is thrown on Keiser for holding, which is fair, and so that moves up Ottawa, and that repeats first down. Following that, Osborne is given the ball on the jet sweep, gets some good yards, and another first down here to go ahead and put them in the red zone. Osborne getting basically 4 of their last 5 first downs here, all in the third quarter. And so in the red zone, first down, Carrera on the RPO, aims kind of deep-ish, like back of the end zone for Dos Santos, but this one's incomplete. So now it's 2nd and 19, and that is where we pick up here at the top of the fourth quarter. Ottawa with the ball up 1 point, 13-12, 2nd and 19 in the red zone. Carrera rolls out and finds Bailey Hodgins for a big-time touchdown to make it 19-12. Following that, Carrera buys time and then comes back and finds Jaslyn Camacho in the back of the end zone to make it 20-12 here. A more comfortable lead, an 8-point lead for Ottawa. And so here we go, Keiser. Still plenty of time here. They scored at the top of the fourth, so plenty of time here. I'd say around maybe 8 to 9-ish minutes at this point. And so here's what happens. Roden finds a receiver. That goes for a first down. Play or two later, 3rd and 2. Roden goes back to Marissa Rubino here on the out route. She goes ahead and gets them across midfield. So 2 first downs in a row to start this drive here. Following that on first down, Roden tries to go deep, but there's a flag thrown on Ottawa for PI, so it's a repeat of first down. That also moves up Keiser here with a little bit more of a manageable situation. Very favorable for them right here. And so after moved up, Roden feeds the hot hand to Rubino on the out route, who goes ahead and puts them in the red zone. Marissa Rubino putting in work here. I believe she got all the first downs for Keiser on this drive so far here. But anyways, in the red zone here, first down, double pass goes to Haley Young, who then throws it to a receiver, and it looks like she might be able to score, but she is stopped just short. Couldn't quite make out who it was. But anyways, brings up 2nd and 1 here on the goal line in the red zone. And on 2nd and 1, a low throw goes for minimal yards. Not really anything, honestly. So it's really still 3rd and 1, maybe 3rd and inches here. And so here's what happens next. Roden rolls right and throws it, but it's incomplete. So here we go. 4th and 1 in the red zone in the fourth quarter, down by 8. Here is what happened here. Rubino comes back in for Haley Young, so no double pass here, just Jasmine Roden, the only quarterback out there. She takes a snap, then she throws left here, but it is almost picked off, and it is batted down, which is honestly probably the smarter decision, maybe. Well, maybe not, because she would have probably been able to return it a couple yards. Either way, it's a turnover on downs. They're basically on the one here, on their own one here. And so Ottawa just looking to not get a safety and get out of their own end zone. Carrera throws the out to Camacho. That gives them some breathing room for a couple yards. It's about 2nd and 14. Following that, Carrera goes deep down the middle, but doesn't work out there. And so a couple plays later, eventually gets the 4th down here after some short passes, and Ottawa is forced to go 3 and out. And so Keiser to get the ball back with about 5 minutes left. Obviously, they're not out of this one, so there you go. Now, to start this drive, it's a drop, so that's not good. But on 2nd down, it's a double pass, and Haley Young finds Kennedy Foster near the sideline for a solid gain of 10. That makes it 3rd and 10 here. And so 3rd and 10, past midfield, by the way, with about 3 minutes left, here is what happens. They go ahead and throw it short here, and it obviously doesn't go for a 1st down. So it's about 4th down and 5, 6-ish here. And here's what happens. Roden then finds Rubino, who gets a key 1st down. That puts them in the red zone here. So here we go, in the red zone. Another chance to score. Roden then finds Foster on the out route. That goes for a short gain. 2nd down here. 2-minute warning hits, and so they run the 2nd down play after that. But 2nd down, Roden rolls right, tosses it to Haley Young, who then just kind of throws up a pass here. It's a little interesting. Roden rolls out right towards Haley Young, kind of runs out of room, so she tosses it to Young, who doesn't really have a lot of time to throw it because the rushers who are following Roden are already on Young, and so she just kind of throws it, and it's easily picked off. And so Ottawa survives here, moves on to the next round, defeating Keiser 20-12 in a thriller. Ottawa advancing to the semis here, where at this point it looks like they're going to play the winner of the Thomas versus St. Thomas game. And then Keiser drops to the loser side of the bracket at this point. If they lose one more time in the tournament, their season is over. But there you go. They're instant classic, honestly. Keiser, I mean, they had their chances. They had 2 drives in the 4th quarter. Obviously, if you score on both, then you win the game. And if you score on one, then you at least have a chance to tie it potentially. And this game would obviously be different. But unfortunately, I mean, Keiser, they drove into the red zone both times. And it looked like it came down to 4th and 1, 4th and 5, 4th and short situations on the goal. And they just couldn't get it done. This Ottawa defense playing really, really well here. So there you go there. Once more, Ottawa defeats Keiser 20-12. Ottawa will move on to the semis against the winner of the St. Thomas game. And then Keiser dropping down to the loser side of the bracket, awaiting a opponent who they will play on Friday.
And to conclude this Thursday slate of games on my end, we have a familiar set of opponents going head-to-head here between St. Thomas and Thomas here. This is a rematch from the Sun Conference Championship, and St. Thomas, the only team to beat Thomas to this point in the season. So, all of that in mind, let's go ahead and jump into it. And St. Thomas here, they will start with the ball. They will start the game with a penalty here, with an offsides penalty, before getting a quick pass that goes for a 1st down anyway. They then have a short slant left here where, they pick up a few yards, but then Janae Scott has a very quick flagpole on back-to-back plays, setting up 3rd and 3 with St. Thomas. Now, St. Thomas, they drop back here, Holly Nair that is, and with the pressure, they overthrow the snapper, and Janae Scott makes an incredible play to intercept the football. And I'm just going to go ahead and remind everyone, Janae Scott, number 9, the linebacker, all-star linebacker for this Thomas Nighthawk squad here. So, Thomas, now with 1st and 4 until midfield, they get a quick pass here out to Nakara Brown, and then Alexa will keep it herself for a few yards, and they will get a 1st down here. Now, they have a couple of short passes before they are 3rd and 7 until the red zone here, and there's a pass just short of the sticks. And on 4th and 1, they go for it here. And Alexa Wilson hits Nakara Brown on a quick hitch, who turns upfield and scores here. Nakara Brown would have an incredible day on this Thursday here. And after Kiana Akol PAT, that would put Thomas up 7-0 here. Now, St. Thomas, keep in mind, St. Thomas here, they just lost their, the Sun Conference Offensive Player of the Year in Jada Graham in the last game. She is not able to play in this contest, so they will have to figure something out here. And so they start off here with a pass for a first down once again. And then on the next play, Holly finds the receiver on a whip route here for a solid gain. Now, on the next play, the pass is just a little bit behind and can't be brought in. That sets up 3rd and 5. They hit a quick mid route and just barely get the first here. And that is then followed by a crosser here to Kaylee Miller, who has, a gain of 11 or so, and that will end the quarter. Now, to start the second quarter, Thomas, the Nighthawks here, obviously make some adjustments, and Jada Reese gets a sack to start the second quarter, and this puts St. Thomas in a 3rd and 16 situation. Now, after another crosser to Kaylee Miller here, that would set it up 4th and 10. And so, they try and take a shot and get the first down, but Aaliyah Wood and Kiera Knight are both there to break up the deep shot and get the defense off the field. So Thomas now with the ball 1st and 12 until midfield. There's going to be a quick pass here to Pena, who gets them just shy of midfield. And then on 3rd and 1, they do a rollout left here that is incomplete. Now 4th and 1 until midfield, they go ahead and go for it here. And 3rd time is the charm, which is the 3rd lateral that gets the first down. But a penalty would give them the first, a penalty would actually take the ball back from the spot of the penalty, but they would get the first down anyway. Now, 2nd and 20 here. They have a pass left that picks up about 4 yards. And on the following play, they look deep here, and the pass is off the fingertips of Thomas and into the all-star defensive back here, Tashumba Washington, getting her first interception of this game. And they're going to continue to ride the Washington train here as she stays out on offense and catches a quick slant for a first down. This is then immediately responded by with a sack by Jada Reese here that pushes St. Thomas into a 2nd and 22 hole that would only be dug deeper by an incompletion on the next play. Now, this is where things get a little weird because Nakara Brown actually intercepts this next pass, but as she is falling down, she tries to lateral it to one of her Thomas teammates, and the lateral is somehow intercepted by Tashumba Washington, who is everywhere on this field here, and gets it back for STU and gives them a fresh set of downs after being in a terrible 4th down spot here. Now, I kept the notes with the St. Thomas side here since it basically just gave them a fresh set of downs. They hit a quick crosser for a first down here, and then another pass to number 12, Kaylee Miller, is just shy of another first. But on the next play here, the first read is taken away, and the pass ends up just getting thrown away. And following another incompletion here, they are set up in 4th and 2, and St. Thomas actually zips in a pass for a first, but a penalty pushes them back, undoes that gain, and they will have to punt. Now, they have Margarita Pena for Thomas here, picks up about 5 yards here, and then an incompletion, trying to squeeze it into a really tight window in the middle of the field, just can't quite squeeze it in there. It ends up hitting the turf. And on 3rd and 6 here, number 33 for St. Thomas, Miranda Ferrades has a very good elite flagpole that, keeps Thomas short of the sticks, 4th and 2, and Thomas will go ahead and let this just go to halftime. Now, with STU starting in the first half, Thomas is going to get to start the second half here, and they would like to come out and just punch them in the mouth and end this game. But not really St. Thomas's plan here, as they will force a few incompletions and make, Thomas have to punt the ball here, especially following an illegal forward pass penalty on a botched lateral. Now, STU to start after a touchback here, they have 2 quick incompletions, and then on 3rd and 5, they throw it, but only pick up a single yard, and after forcing a Thomas 3-and-out, St. Thomas themselves experiences a 3-and-out, courtesy of the Nighthawks. Now, a penalty on this punt gives Thomas great field position with only 23 yards to score here, and you know what it is. Kiana Cole runs for a first down to start this drive and then runs left to set up 2nd and 10. But then Kiana Cole is rolling out and dots up Kiera Knight, who will punch it in here for the score. But on the PAT here, number 10, Mayerly Kaon. I probably just butchered that really bad, so please forgive me here. But regardless, the St. Thomas defense makes a great play here, pulls the flag short, so Thomas is only up 13-0. Now, St. Thomas here, they are down by 2 scores. They really got to get something going here, but that would not be allowed by Thomas University here, where Janae Scott gets her 2nd interception of the game on this drive, giving Thomas the ball to start on the 18-yard line. And this is just about heading into the 4th quarter here. Now, the Bobcats, they respond with 2 quick flagpoles and set up 3rd and 14. Now, there's a quick pass and a lateral, which would lead to 4th and 8. And this is where number 3 here, you know her, Rayona Baker here, comes up with a major pass breakup and forces a turnover on downs. So STU, they have the ball on their own 8-yard line, and this is the drive where they can really figure things out here. And where they need to figure things out here. And so with that pressure in mind, they get a quick pass, but then there's a batted pass that is almost picked off. So, this Thomas pass rush is constantly harassing Holly here in the backfield, forcing lots of incompletions, getting up, batting passes as well, and, just wreaking havoc, really, on this St. Thomas offense and quarterback especially. And that would continue on this next play as Nakara Brown makes up for her earlier folly here, gets a pick 6, keeps her balance, wins the foot race to the end zone, and that is the nail in the coffin here. The PAT's no good, but they are up 19-0 here heading into the end of this game. Now, St. Thomas with the ball here. Janae Scott almost gets another interception here. And, you could just feel that St. Thomas is missing Graham really bad in this game. On the next play, Janae Scott has a flagpole just shy of the first. And on 3rd and 1, they hit a quick pitch right. But, it's interesting to note here, they get the first down, but another Thomas player has really bad cramps here and is helped off the field. But, that does not seem to impact Thomas's mindset here. There's a deep pass, and Kiera Knight gets an interception and ends this ball game here. Thomas would advance to face the winner of Ottawa and Keiser here, which would be basically the semifinal game. Whoever would win that following matchup that's on Friday would advance to the championship and face the winner of the bottom bracket here. And then St. Thomas here, they actually get who would end up being the winner of Weber and Midland for Friday. They would get that game inside the Dome at noon the next day. So that wraps it up for the Thursday games from my side. And, Simon only has the Ottawa and Keiser game. Be sure to listen to that full recap. And, I'll be bringing forth a few more reactions from the Friday slate of games. So stay tuned. All right, so following their respective losses, Midland to Ottawa and Campbellsville to Warner, they meet up on the losers side of the bracket, the bottom bracket, the single eliminated side of the bracket here at 2:40 on this Thursday. Midland playing their 3rd game of the day, Campbellsville playing their 2nd game of the day. This is around 2:40 p.m., once again at Franklin Gateway Sports Complex. Let's go ahead and talk about it. So Midland to start, They have 2 quick incompletions, and Campbellsville seems ready for the pitch on 3rd down, but Midland has the speed to narrowly pick it up. But following picking up that 1st down, Campbellsville bounces back with a Gabriel Medeiros sack here to push Midland back here. Now, after an incomplete pass, it is now 3rd and 21 here for Midland. They do get the ball to Elijah Livingston here, who makes a couple defenders miss before finally number 7, Angeline Beecher, pulls her flag here. And on 4th and 13, Midland, they're going to go for it, and they're going to succeed. They get a huge completion to Casey Thompson, who gets all the way into the Campbellsville red zone before being dragged down, which also draws a flag here, a holding flag on Campbellsville, pushing them even further into the red zone. And on the next play, Midland would finish the drive as Michaela Nunez dots up number 17, Olivia Dominguez Millsop here for the score. The PAT is no good, but regardless, Midland is now up 6-0 with 6 minutes in the 1st quarter. Now, Campbellsville, they run a read option left for about a gain of 4 before Thompson has a flagpole in the backfield on the next play, and following an incompletion, Campbellsville would have to punt. Now, Midland, with the ball on 1st and 10 until the red zone with a huge punt return, have an incomplete pass, and then a quick pass for a few, and another incompletion. So they are completing less than 50% of their passes to this point, but the ones that they complete are the ones that matter, as Nunez finds number 17, once again, Olivia Dominguez Millsop, who stays in bounds and picks up the 1st down here, since they had 1st and 10 until the red zone is what I should say. And then on the next play, there is a drop before there is a run for a few to end the quarter. But to start the 2nd quarter, there is a catch for a gain of 6, and on 4th and 5, Nunez rolls out left and finds freshman Emily Farron for the score, and then they run a reverse here to Michaela Nunez, who converts, and Midland is now up 13-0. Now, Midland Campbellsville on the next drive has to combat the Midland blitz as they force a quick incompletion. Then there is a great flagpole by Olivia Dominguez Millsop again for no gain before a diving flagpole by Sydney Red forces a Campbellsville punt once again. Now, Midland with the ball on their own 22, they have a short run and a short shovel before a swing lateral pass, or a swing pass that has 2 laterals eventually picks up a 1st down. They then hit a quick hitch in the middle of the field, but a penalty for not going for the flag leads to another 1st down. They have a bad toss and then a quick out that sets up 3rd and 17, or 3rd and 7, I should say, and they aim for the end zone here, and number 23, Livingston, brings the pass in and reaches for the touchdown here. The PAT is no good. However, Midland is still up pretty big here in the 1st half. Now, Campbellsville, they have a 2-minute drill amount of time here in the 1st half, and they try and get something going here. But Alyssa Butler would have other plans with great back-to-back flagpoles, and there's a deep throw that's open on the right side, but the quarterback just waits too long, doesn't see it in time, and that gets batted down. And Midland will have a 1 minute and 8 seconds, with the ball almost at midfield. Now, 17 for Campbellsville does come up really huge here with a pass breakup. That is Annalise Beecher here, who makes just a very athletic play to break up the pass. But Nunez keeps for a 1st down. And then after an incompletion, 2nd and 19, there's a pass for a gain of 13 yards. Midland will take a timeout here, and on 3rd and 5, they pick up the 1st down. And on the next set of downs in the red zone, the next pass is batted up in the air and is intercepted by J.C. Harper for Campbellsville. Great red zone stop here to try and keep them out of the end zone. But Midland, not to be outdone, the veteran here, Casey Thompson, would get an interception of her own and set up Midland on the 30-yard line going in with about 6 seconds to go. And so they go for the pass. Nunez drops back, winds up, and launches deep down the middle and finds Diva Jones, who scores. Now the PAT speed option right ends up being a double pass where Olivia dots up number 23 for this Midland squad, Elia Livingston, and that would put Midland up 28-0 at halftime. Now, or I believe 26-0 even. But, to start the second half, Campbellsville, they come out, they try and just stabilize a little bit here, and they come out with a few runs here. They pick up a first down, but eventually, they drop some passes, they have a pass breakup, and a crosser just doesn't quite get there, and they have to punt. Now, Midland with 1st and 16 until midfield. They face a much more rabid, I would say, Campbellsville defense. Emma Walker here gets a sack with a great move on the pass blocker before on the next play, Nunez finds Dominguez Millsop here for a first down. They throw a short out left before Campbellsville forces a turnover but experience a really big collision in that time. Now, Campbellsville, they have 1st and 13 until midfield. They start off their drive with a short pass, try and establish something here. But number 5, Desenia Barcenas here would get a turnover herself and give Midland the ball right back. Campbellsville, they come out with a quick flagpole. Harper keeps the Midland gain short, but then Midland on second down has an illegal block that sets up 2nd and 17, but an offsetting penalty would call it a wash. Number 22, Gabriela Medeiros here gets a sack for Midland, or for Campbellsville once again, and forces Midland into a deep pit on 3rd down that takes us to the end of the quarter. Now entering the 4th quarter, it is 3rd and 24, and there is a deep pass left here to number 14, who comes down with the catch, Emily Farron here, that sets up Midland in the red zone at the 2. And then trying to get out of this situation here, Annalise Beecher has a great flagpole just shy of the end zone, but a shovel pass to Casey Thompson would make it 32-0 here. That would be the last score of the game here as time runs out, and Campbellsville, unfortunately, their tournament ends here. Now, Midland, with that win, is going to face Weber tomorrow during the Friday games at the Home Depot backyard.
Okay, now let's go ahead and talk about one of the last matchups from day one, May 18th in Marietta, Georgia. That is Warner versus Cottey. This is on the loser side of the bracket. So basically what that means is that if any of these teams lose, then that'll be it. That's the end of their season. Boom, it's over. So this is very much win or go home here, just to set the stage before it all goes down. Cottey obviously lost to Midland in the first round here. Warner would win their first game, but then would unfortunately have to face Thomas here, who would handedly defeat them. And so that's where we are right now. Now, the winner of this would go on and play Kansas Wesleyan on Friday here, the next day, for a chance to keep going in this tournament. They would play them Friday morning. And then, like I said, the loser goes home. So there you go there. Those are the stakes for this game. And so here we go. Cottey versus Warner here. Honestly, in the first quarter, nothing really happens here. Both teams get pretty solid yards to start. Both get first downs on their drives, but eventually stall out with a couple incompletions and overthrows each. Really interesting that each team made kind of the same mistakes. Cottey would end up punting on their first drive. Warner would have a turnover on downs here. Also interesting enough, looking like they are rotating quarterbacks. It looked like Andre Rodriguez started, got a nice pass to Andre Castillo for a big gain for them, and then Shea Crooks would come in after that on that first drive. So there you go there. Now Cottey, kind of later in the first quarter, basically the same type of deal. It does come down to a 4th and 1 near midfield, but a QB design run with Jennifer Haberstock gets them a first down past midfield. Unfortunately, though, once more it comes down to a 4th and 5. Haberstock, she throws it. It's low-key almost a pick six by Destiny Burrows of Warner, but it is dropped, so that's a turnover on down. So very uneventful first quarter. Let's go to the second quarter here, which does as well also take a little bit of time going. Rodriguez back in at quarterback for Warner here. She does find Castillo on a nice slant route that would go ahead and get them about 15 yards or so, and that would put them past midfield. But an incompletion, a costly miscommunication, and then on third down they go ahead and throw in Shea Crooks, who throws the short hitch, which is stopped immediately. Brings up 4th down, which is interesting because they're past midfield, right near the red zone, closer to the red zone than their own, and they go ahead and decide to punt it. So, like I said, really interesting. And so Cottey, they get the ball here with a chance to potentially take the lead. So let's start here. They're in that second quadrant. I want to say it's second down, and they go ahead and get a first down to get past midfield here. Fast forward to third down, about 4 minutes left in this first half here. Jennifer Haberstock steps up in the pocket and delivers a great throw on the dig to Laurencia Botts. That's a first down. That also puts them in the red zone in a prime spot to potentially score. But let's move on a couple plays here. It does eventually come down to this 4th down play here. Not a lot of yards. The most yards they got leading up to this 4th down was a check down to Kenzie Murdoch. So it's basically like 4th and 15, 4th and 20-ish, honestly, here. And so here's what happens. 4th down, Haberstock drops back and takes a shot downfield, almost a Hail Mary here to Angie Cruz. And she goes up and makes the Hail Mary catch and gives Cottey the 6-0 lead over Warner. Extra point, no good, but lead over Warner is big time. And honestly, I think this is the first time in program history that Cottey has ever taken the lead over a Sun Conference opponent. And so here we go. Cottey with the lead in this half. Warner looking to reply back, not trying to get in a hole early on here. And so here's what happens. We're inside the 2-minute warning. They go ahead and sub in Courtney Cromer in at quarterback. That's the third quarterback they have played this half, which is crazy. And so here we go. Courtney Cromer at quarterback throws the out route and gives Warner a first down. Boom, just like that. But following that, Cromer sacked by Alyssa Hollis. Huge play by Cottey. That sets them back a little bit. That brings up second down here. Cromer under pressure. Checks down to Gianna Huang. She gets them a couple of yards. Gets some of those sack yards back. That brings up third down here. And on third down, they go ahead and convert and get the first here. And actually, Warner is able to march down the field. I know the stream kind of struggled a little bit, but it picked back up later on in this drive. Still inside the 2 minutes of this first half here. But Warner's able to march down the field. And here's what happens. Courtney Cromer drops back and finds Cynthia Holmes for the touchdown and to tie this game here. And then on the extra point, Cromer throws the extra point to Amiri Logan. I want to say this is on a slant to go ahead and take the 7-6 lead just like that. And that'll basically be it. Cottey would try to get something going here at the end, but nothing would happen. And so going into the second half, Warner leads 7-6 here. So there you go. Now, third quarter here, Courtney Cromer gets the ball. Courtney Cromer in this Warner offense gets the ball first, as I should say here. And on the very first play, Cromer is picked off by Cottey's Giannis Rodriguez, who goes ahead and puts Cottey in the red zone to start play one. An interception to start. This is bad news for Warner, as Cottey has a great opportunity to retake the lead here. But unfortunately, it does come down to 4th and long here. On 3rd down, Haberstock gets sacked, and so that's what brings up this 4th down. And on 4th down, Haberstock goes deep, but this one is just barely tipped away. A Cottey defender able to get her pause on this one. And so that makes it a turnover on downs. The interception not affecting Warner here, not hurting them. And so here we go, trying to bounce back from that turnover. Cromer hits a Mary Logan, freshman to freshman, on the post route, who gets loose for a big 20-plus yard play across midfield. That's a first down and a big jump starter for this Warner drive here. Moving on to 2nd down here after an incompletion. Cromer throws it up the seam to Anna Vincenzini, another freshman, who puts them in the red zone. Great throw here and great catch by Vincenzini to get them going. So 2 big splash plays right here on this drive. Once again, following another incompletion here in the red zone. 2nd down, she goes ahead and is forced to check it down to Gianna Huang. She gets a couple, that brings up 3rd and 7. And on 3rd and 7, she throws it. It's on the money, but this one's dropped, and so that is 4th down. 4th and 7 here in the red zone, and here is what happens. Cromer throws it into the end zone, and it is picked off, and it is returned the length of the field. Cottey takes the 12-7 lead. Joliet Johnson just picking this one off, and then basically just sprinting out the end zone, 80 yards to the house for a touchdown. I believe that has to be a Nationals postseason record for the longest pick six. I can't think of a longer pick six at this point. I mean, that's basically the entire field. She fielded this thing in the end zone and then just returned it all the way to the house, outrunning the entire Warner offense and injecting a bunch of life into Cottey here. And so here we go on the extra point. Cottey up already, so you gotta feel good whether you get this extra point or not. But bunch set, Cottey goes ahead and runs it, and they just run it up the middle. I believe that's Haberstock there, and that gives them the 13-7 lead in the third quarter. Cottey once again having a lead over Warner, and this time it's in the second half here. And so Warner, their season already in trouble after 2 games, and Cottey looking to pull off an upset here. But still a lot of time to play, and so here's what happens. I believe Cromer stays in at quarterback. They're going to go ahead and ride this thing out with her, and so here is what happens. They get a first down to start, and then following that, eventually they get another first down. This gets them past midfield, and that's to Cynthia Holmes, who gets that catch and gets them past midfield. So there you go. Now moving on to second down here after an incompletion. A PI is called on Cottey, which happens, I want to say, well, it happens on second down. And it's after a huge catch, a pretty solid catch by Holmes. And so that adds on a couple more yards, and then they repeat the down here. And so on that down, still repeated again, Cromer goes deep, and she's on the money to Amiri Logan. Great timing on this throw. Just a great ball. And then Amiri Logan, I mean, she just has to finish the play. And she gets a nice touchdown, walks it in, and ties this game at 13-13. We got a thriller right here. Now, the extra point is deflected, so it stays at 13-13 for now. And so Cottey, they get the ball. They do get a pick. It's not a pick six. They get a first down here, which is a drag route throw to Shamise Lee. And so that's where we pick up in the fourth quarter. Cottey with the ball after that first down. Fast forwarding to third down here. Haberstock throws it, and it is tipped up and then picked off by Amiri Logan. And not only is it picked off, but she returns it to the house for a pick six and retakes the lead for Warner, making it 20-13, kind of making up for some of the struggles of this Warner offense. And so Warner back in the driver's seat for now, but it is only a 7-point game. Now Cottey looking to respond back after a very unfortunate play on that tipped interception. Haberstock on second down throws the drag route to a receiver who goes ahead and gets them a first down to start. Following a couple plays, it's 4th and 5 here, kind of close to midfield. Cottey obviously going for it. Haberstock delivers a good throw over the middle, and that's good for a first past midfield as Cottey is rolling. But once again, it comes down to a 4th and short situation on the edge of the red zone, 4th and 4. Haberstock tries to go over the middle, but Amiri Logan is there and picks it off. Not quite sealing the game for Warner yet, but definitely marching in that direction. So there you go. So Warner, they have the ball here, and they make a 4th quarterback change, which is really interesting here. And they go with Allison Mangiotti. I believe she's more of their athletic wildcat type, looking to run at the ball. And so they basically run a lot of run plays here. Trying to salt the clock away, but on second down, one of their short passes is tipped away by Seamus Lee. So that brings up 3rd down. And on 3rd down, Mangiotti finds Holmes for an out route, but she is stopped pretty short. And so just like that, Warner has to punt it because they're too far away and did not get enough yards on those early downs. And so they go 3 and out here. And so Cottey once more has a chance to potentially make this a closer game and maybe take the, or not, either, I guess they could take the lead, either take the lead or tie it, pending the extra point. But a touchdown here would obviously go a long way to get closer to that. So there you go there. Plus on the punt, it was a touchback, so Cottey starting basically where they usually would here. But it does come down to a 4th down situation in this quadrant. Here's what happens. Haberstock throws a slant here, which goes ahead and gives them a first down, extends this drive for a little bit. But unfortunately, disaster hits after an overthrown ball. Haberstock sacked on second down, so that brings up 3rd down here. And on 3rd down, Haberstock goes deep, but this one's knocked away by the safeties of Warner. So that brings up 4th down here. Which, by the way, I think on this play, Angie Cruz might have been hurt. So she comes off the field. So Cottey is now short one of their starting receivers. And so here's what happens on 4th down. Basically, it's just a Hail Mary. They just throw it up there. And this one's pretty much easily picked off by Amiri Logan. And then that interception will seal the game here. Warner eliminates Cottey from this tournament 20-13, surviving a little bit of a scare here, but they're going to go ahead and face off with Kansas Wesleyan, another KCAC opponent, on Friday early in the morning, looking to keep their season alive. Now for Cottey, this season ends for them, but you got to be happy with it. I mean, you got a couple of postseason wins. You played Warner really close on this one. Didn't go down without swinging. You got to feel great about this. Obviously improved from last year. Hoping to continue to build on this going into next year. So a lot of positives to take away from this from Cottey. I think this is high-key one of their best case scenarios. I wouldn't say best case scenarios. That's why I said one of them. I think the best case scenario would be beating Warner, because they were right there. But, you know, hey, it happens, and, you know, they're going to have to learn from this moving forward. Now, if you're Warner, hey, you're surviving. At this point, you kind of don't care too much how you win. You just need to win here. But it's also a little concerning that they rolled with 4 different starting quarterbacks and was only able to put up like 2 touchdowns, 2 scores on offense here, because one of these scores was a pick 6. And I mean, Amiri Logan pretty much saved Warner's season in this one with 2 interceptions, one being a pick 6, the other one a pick She had 3 interceptions now that I think about it in the fourth quarter. One was a pick six. The other one happened kind of halfway through the fourth. And then the other one was right at the end of the game there. So Miri Logan, definitely playmaker of the game, I would say, of this one. But, you're going to worry about those things later here. For now, Warner has to be happy with the dub as they move on to play Kansas Wesleyan. Once more, Warner defeats Cottey in this thrilling game to end Thursday, 20-13.